What's happening, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day today. If you follow me on Instagram, if you watch my Instagram stories, then you are probably pumped for today's breadstick recipe because I've been teasing these breadsticks on my Insta stories for the past 2 weeks. I've been eating them every single day, and every time I eat them, I make sure that I post them on my Insta stories. And you guys have been reaching out more about these breadsticks than any other recipe that I've ever done, wanting to know when the recipe's coming out, what's the recipe, and today we are finally dropping this breadstick recipe. So I'm super pumped to share it with you. The macros are ridiculous on these breadsticks. There's almost as much protein as there is carbs in these breadsticks, and they're basically fat-free. Plus the recipe takes just like 35 minutes from start to finish to make. So let's hop on back in the kitchen and make some breadsticks, guys. It's super important that you guys have a food scale for the recipe today because you need to be as accurate as possible weighing out some of your ingredients. So if you don't have one of these, there's a link to grab one in the video description below, but a ton of stores sell these too: Walmart, Target, Home Goods, your local grocery store. But you definitely want to have one of these because it's going to just help make sure your breadsticks go as successfully as possible. All right, so I'm assuming you've got your food scale. The next thing you want to do is get out a super large bowl, guys. Once you got your super large bowl out, that's when we're gonna add our first ingredient to the bowl. So our first ingredient is gonna be self-rising flour. The reason why we're adding self-rising flour is two reasons, actually. Number one, it already has all the ingredients inside of it to help the flour rise. And number two, the macros, guys. Macros on self-rising flour are actually pretty great. It's 0 grams of fat, 23 grams of carbs, and 3 grams of protein per quarter cup, or 30 grams. And today for our breadsticks, we're gonna be adding 2 servings or about 60 grams of the flour to our really large bowl. All right, so the next ingredient I'm adding is sort of optional, but highly recommended, guys. And that's because you can add a little extra protein to your breadsticks without adding any additional carbs. So I'm gonna be adding a half a scoop or 15 grams of Isopure's unflavored whey protein powder. But if you don't wanna add this, all you have to do is add 15 extra grams of self-rising flour. So the next thing we're adding is gonna be a little bit of dried basil. And to be honest with you guys, I always just eyeball this and just kind of sprinkle it into my big bowl. But as a reference point, I'm gonna say about a teaspoon of dried basil is the right amount that you're gonna want for your breadsticks. So once again, guys, this is totally to taste just like the basil was, but the final dry ingredient we're gonna add is going to be some garlic powder. If we're making breadsticks, they have to be garlicky, guys. So I recommend adding around a teaspoon of garlic powder to your big bowl for your breadsticks. All right, so at this point, guys, you are all set to take out your whisk and whisk all of your ingredients up until they're well combined. And that'll bring us to our last ingredient, guys, which is gonna be some non-fat Greek yogurt. Actually, any fat Greek yogurt will work, but I highly recommend going with the Faye brand of Greek yogurt. And that's because it's the thickest, creamiest, smoothest Greek yogurt that they sell at the grocery store, at least that I've tried. And I've tried a lot of Greek yogurts, guys. And the biggest reason why you wanna go with this is because it's so thick. Regardless of whatever Greek yogurt you go with, it has to be thick, guys. It's gotta be strained Greek yogurt. If it's soupy and thin, it's not gonna work right. So make sure your Greek yogurt is super thick regardless of if you go with this or not. And you're gonna wanna add a half a cup or 110 grams of the Greek yogurt, whatever fat Greek yogurt you use, to your bowl. All right, so at this point, guys, we've got all the ingredients in the bowl. We're just gonna take out our spatula and mix everything together until a ball of dough just starts to form. And make sure you don't overmix your dough, guys. Once that ball of dough forms, don't mix anymore. All right, so at this point, we've got our ball of dough. What we're gonna do is just cover our work surface area with a little flour, add the ball of dough to the flour, just kind of coat both sides in flour. And also at this point, we're gonna combine any of those stray crumbs from our bowl into our ball of dough as well. Once our ball of dough is floured, we're gonna separate it into 6 equal sized pieces. And then you'll wanna add the dough to your floured work surface area and work the dough from the middle to the outsides to form your breadsticks. Once we've got our breadsticks formed, we're gonna add them to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. And then at this point, guys, once I've added all my breadsticks to my tray, I'll spray the tops of my breadsticks with a bit of baking spray, add some salt and some more dried basil to taste, and then bake the breadsticks at 375 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes or until the tops of the breadsticks start to turn golden brown. And once they're golden brown, guys, the last step is letting them cool off. I recommend just letting them cool off completely in the tray itself.
This is just how I serve my breadsticks, in the jar of pizza sauce like this. I always joke around and say, if you ever come to my house and I make you breadsticks, you're getting your breadstick like this, and just in a jar of pizza sauce.
It's taste test time. My favorite part of this whole thing. So damn good. So damn good. Everybody thinks Olive Garden's got the best breadsticks. These are the best breadsticks, guys, and they're good for you. Unlimited breadsticks at my house. I am definitely eating the entire tray of these breadsticks before the end of this video. Anyways, that's today's recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, it'd mean the world to me if you hit the like button, the thumbs up button on the video. And if you want the full recipe with the metric measurements or the macros, or you just want to pick up any of the stuff that I used to make the breadsticks today, all that's in the video description below. Subscribe if you guys are not subscribed yet, and I will see you in the next recipe. Take care, guys.